Hey Aries, what's going on? We are here with a timeless reading. The first card that we have out is Ten of Swords. When we have Ten of Swords, it is about what we are concluding, what we are finishing. It means too that a cycle is at its end. And after all of that, you can be feeling quite tired. You can feel too like you need some maybe time and space to recover. This feels like it's very normal for you to be feeling like this. When we go through something that is the Ten of Swords, we do need time to restore our energy. So you can be just feeling that. So if you're like questioning why it is that you're feeling what you're feeling, even if things are over, even if the situation is over, you do need time to recover. So it's normal to be feeling like that. Some of you may feel like you have to maybe like keep moving or keep going, even though you can be feeling like you need a break. Feels like something isn't finished yet. You can kind of be feeling like you're in a bit of a mood because of that. What can this mean? This can mean that with the Ten of Swords, we go through something that feels really challenging, really exhausting to go through. You need time to recover after. In that space of, I need to recover right now. I'm not feeling like my normal self right now. I'm feeling like this is a long trip that I just went on and now I'm back from it. So I'm not on the trip anymore, but I like just got back. And so I need this time to recover my energy. When you're in that time, it feels like something may have gone on. I don't know if this was about what was happening or something happened sort of when you got back from this going on. What I'm seeing with the Five of Swords is that this can mean maybe there's like not support, not understanding that you have for being in this position that you're in. Maybe you're not being understanding of yourself needing some time to recover. Maybe you're being really hard on yourself. Maybe you're being really critical with yourself. Maybe there's someone around you that you wish would support you that's not giving you that type of support. Maybe this is something that you feel like you're having a hard time processing. Five of Swords can also be like, maybe you did something that you're like, well, I wasn't in a great place when I did that, but I did do it. And now I kind of regret that that's what I did. But I also like needed this time over here to myself. So it can be a chain of those things. This can be either, the Five of Swords can be like something that you were doing, even if it's just like with your relationship with yourself, where maybe you weren't being super compassionate, understanding. This can also be something that was maybe going on with another person. Maybe you were like, I'm drained right now. Like I'm not in that place with myself. I'm not in a great place with myself right now. Like I need this time to recover. Maybe somebody came around. Maybe you did something. Maybe you said something. Maybe there was some type of interaction that you're like, on a normal day, I wouldn't have done that, or I wouldn't have interacted in that way. Whatever it is, whatever that Five of Swords was, it looks like there's a looking at it and being like, that's a shame. I kind of get that feeling of like, it didn't need to be like that. It wasn't necessary, but I'm also understanding, given all of the circumstances, why that was going on. Because it can be behavior that you look at, and if this is you, again, even if it's not like you with another person, this can be you with yourself, maybe not being understanding of when you need time to recharge and something that was going on, and being like, I think not always the most compassionate given this type of situation. And maybe it's something that you're looking back on and being like, I could have been more compassionate with myself, or maybe with another person, or I wish they had been more compassionate with me given the circumstance that I was in. It's going to be something along the lines of this here. There could also be like an acting out of some sort that happened, or just a acting in a way that one may not feel is totally characteristic of themselves when they're in a better place. That can be the feeling too with this. It's kind of like when you know that you need space and somebody keeps bothering you and you just snap on them. Whether this be something that you did with yourself or with another person or somebody else did that with you. I'm now seeing with that Five of Cups, there being this sort of reviewing that had happened, but I'm also seeing it not feel like an isolated incident. I'm seeing where this started, because something happened with the Ten of Swords that needed to be recovered from. It looks like in the time when somebody needed to recover and maybe be alone, maybe to recharge, maybe whatever, something happened that came up. Things may have happened maybe in a way that was unwanted, and then there's the like, oh, I wish things had gone differently. Some of you, this is connected with a close relationship of yours. Whoever was acting in that energy of the Five of Swords, I don't see this as being the normal energy. I see this as being sort of what happened when one is sort of at their limits and like wasn't really feeling that connected because of being drained and just pulled from maybe a place that it maybe doesn't feel good to interact from, but that was all one felt like they had left within them. This can also be, too, a protective measure. When we go through things that feel like they really break us down, in the aftermath of that, the feelings that we need to recover from going through an experience like that, Five of Swords can be us doing things that we're like trying to keep ourselves safe and not put more stress onto our plates, and the things that we do to protect ourselves. That when you're in a normal space, you may not feel like that. When you're grounded, when you're tuned in, you may not act in a way that is the Five of Swords. But the Five of Swords is the part of us that comes up and can sometimes barricade things or push other people away or whatever, or push ourselves closer into something or tuck ourselves away just so nobody else bothers us. Just so nobody else takes more energy from us. So it can be the things that we do when we're going through that. But this Five of Cups is feeling like I'm recognizing those times. Because this feels like a situation that this already happened. I'm not seeing you in the middle of something anymore. It feels like the situations that have happened, you can even be having conversations about this. Especially if another person, this can be something that you're thinking about on your own, or you can be having conversation with another person about this. Like, yeah, these things happened, and then I was feeling like this in the aftermath of it. Having King of Swords can be breaking this down, talking about it, understanding it more, analyzing it, also understanding how everything kind of has a domino effect as well. I'm definitely seeing there be a sort of going away to review. It feels like going into your room and closing the door and just being by yourself. So there could have maybe even initially been sitting with this before conversations be happening about it. Having King of Swords and having the Hermit can be thinking independently about this, thinking alone about this, reviewing this alone. But then there can also be ultimately a discussion afterwards, and only after it feels like this has been broken down and understood better. It feels like if there's a conversation that happens too early, there can be connections that aren't made yet that may actually be more relevant to the conversation. And so waiting until those connections are made to discuss about this. Which ends up being fine. Like, there can be conflict just that needs to be dealt with, things that need to be communicated, misunderstandings of intentions, of why we do what, where we are with things. And this can also be too, with that Five of Swords, these can be understanding what motivates certain behavior, which honestly, like, the Five of Swords makes a lot of sense to me. If we're in that Four of Cups when we feel like I don't have any more fuel left, and you have something coming around that's triggering you and you're like, I don't have anything left to give, and that's what's being communicated, It may come off in a harsh way, and at the same time, this way of doing things, it holds a purpose. It serves a purpose. And so even though it may not be an energy that you want to embody, I feel like this is because I'm even seeing like, I wish that I hadn't done that, or I wish I would have maybe handled that differently with the Five of Cups after the Five of Swords, like, or we didn't need to get into that argument, or like I wasn't in a space to listen, and so I should have like read that within myself, like I wasn't in that place to be doing it. I feel like there's a lot of insight that's being gained moving through this, which feels like it turns things from being left with like maybe a lot of not good feelings about it, to then finding a way actually to move through this and feel like you've gained something. Like this has actually benefited you in some way moving through it. And I feel too like there's a calling out that's happening too, of like, yeah, I said that, yeah, I did that, yeah, this is going on. And I feel like there's accountability here too, which is really important, because before we have that awareness there can be things that we do, there can be things that we say, there can be ways that we think. I feel very much like what's happening here is I'm seeing that I was being like that. I'm seeing that was the energy that I was channeling. I'm having a conversation about this. I'm holding myself accountable. I'm naming that. I'm understanding why that was happening, where this came from, what it was connected with. And so you're just learning more about yourself as you go through this process. And I do feel like things are being called out. I do get the sense that things are being discussed. And I feel like there are ways then to say, like, moving forward, if a similar situation like this starts happening, I get the signs and I know what I would do and not do in that next situation, so that I don't have to go through this again, so that we don't have to go through this again. I think that some of this is still being sorted through. Like, you may be still making sense of feelings. You can still be making sense of certain ways of thinking, maybe some patterns that aren't fully recognized where they're coming from yet. It could leave you too in a space where you're like, something felt weird about that, something felt off about that, or I didn't like something about that, and I'm still sort of making sense of this. Which I feel like this actually goes back to the original thing that took place, like the original event that this was all connected with, of what had event or events, because it's connected with a cycle that the cycle isn't happening anymore, but this is dealing with the aftermath of that. Like all of the feelings and all of the thoughts after. There's still stuff that's being sorted through emotionally that's going to further inform you of where all of these feelings and thoughts are coming from, that I don't think have been totally broken down yet. But you can also, I still see like, I'm making progress with this and I'm getting somewhere with this and I'm learning more and I'm understanding more. And at this same time, there can be more that you feel like you haven't tapped into yet. There can still be more that you're making sense of. Because we're ending with the Seven of Cups. So I would say that you may not feel like this is, like you totally understand this or there's absolute resolution here. You can know that things are moving and that progress is being made. And also you can know that there's still more stuff that needs to be worked through in order for this to fully be understood. And I'm just seeing you getting closer and closer to that. So I'm definitely seeing this as showing you making progress moving through it. I wonder too if there's something going on where, like, I don't know if this is your own energy where you may be kind of guarded still at times, or it can be the other person's energy, or it can be both of the energies. It can maybe even sometimes be your energy when you're not totally aware of it. Where there's just stuff that's still, there's a mentality that's still in the process of changing here. And because of this being something that's maybe not the most clear-cut process. Sometimes you can feel tired of moving through it. Give yourself time when you're feeling like that. You don't need to push. I feel like everything is coming to the surface. It may not be all at once, but it's all slowly coming up. I'm seeing Capricorn on the bottom of the deck, and I'm also seeing Virgo in the spread. I'm seeing some other stuff, but I don't see how it strings together yet, so I don't want to talk on that. It feels almost like it's like words, but I don't know what this sentence is. And it has me feeling almost like something isn't time maybe to be spoken on yet. I'm definitely seeing there be a continuation of this process, and I am seeing a new chapter that's going to be starting a little bit later, which even feels like there being maybe a more clear goal in mind even. All right, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I'm sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.